So everybody, welcome to another episode of Friday 5, and in this episode we're going to talk all things iOS 18.3 Beta 1, as well as some rumors on especially some items which need a new revamp like the Magic Mouse, as well as the Apple TV 4K. So without further ado, let's talk about everything that you guys should know about from this past week. Let's get into it. So let's quickly go over the new 18.3 beta update because not even a week after the 18.2 public release came out, Apple issued the developer beta for beta 1 of 18.3 across iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and all the other different pieces of hardware that Apple wanted to update. But the reason we didn't actually put any videos up is because there was no real difference in terms of 18.2 to 18.3, at least none that meets the eyes on top, and under the hood, there's only one real difference that we found, and it's that Apple HomeKit will now be able to support certain robot vacuums, so you'll be able to start and stop robot vacuums, as well as manage them whenever you need to from the home application, which, in my opinion, is going to be a nice little update, but as of right now, there's no real showcase, there's currently no RoboVacs to support that, so it's just kind of under the hood in the code to let us know that at least it's coming in the future from different third-party manufacturers. But again, that's the main reason we didn't make a video, is because there was no real difference and nothing worth note, especially when there's so much new stuff with 18.2 still that is yet to be uncovered. But now I did update my iPad Pro to 18.3 and it is running relatively smoothly, there's no issues, but again, no real differences to take into account that I've noticed over the past couple of days. So if you do want to update, go for it, but just know that there's going to be zero differences from 18.2 to 18.3 as of right now. And I definitely thought that Apple was going to give us some of those other Siri updates and those Apple Intelligence updates that they promised, like next-gen Siri with personal context, in-app actions, on-screen awareness, and priority notifications, but it looks like Apple is saving those for 18.4 sometime next year, but that remains yet to be seen, and those are still things that are omitted from the Apple Intelligence promise that we got back at WWDC. So the next thing I do want to bring up is this idea of a new folding iPad that is in the rumor mills again, because Apple has been working on making things ultra thin, and I think that's because of the fact that they want to make these foldable devices sooner rather than later. So of course they got to get the unfolded form factor as thin as possible, so when it does fold up, it isn't insanely thick to the point that people don't want to use it. For instance, right now, if you physically fold an iPad Pro in half, the 12.9 inch or the 13 inch, you'll get about a 10mm thickness device, and I think Apple is kind of moving something that's going to want to be a little bit thinner than that, and that's why Apple's going back to this ultra thin form factor. Now, I do have a whole video talking about the folding iPad, which should be coming out soon, either before or after this video, so definitely stay tuned. But the top priority things you should take into consideration is that yes, this is coming out, but it won't be coming out until at least 2026 or 2027. You're looking at a display size when it's fully unfolded of about 18 to 21 inches diagonally, which is going to be great for a bunch of different uses, and we're going to have some sort of macOS, iPadOS kind of operating system hybrid, which is going to be the best of both worlds in my opinion. And the last thing you should know is that this is going to be an ultra premium device because technically it will be cannibalizing both the need to have a laptop and the need to have an iPad, because when it's folded, it's an iPad. When it's unfolded, it could still be a tablet, but it can also be used as a desktop monitor. So they're going to be cannibalizing a lot, meaning that this could be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 once it's all said and done. There was also rumblings of a new Magic Mouse finally releasing with a different design. Of course, Apple did update the Magic Mouse by giving it USB-C because they were forced to put USB-C on this thing across all the different peripherals that Apple makes, but the form factor, the design, and even the placement of that USB-C port is exactly the same. There are some rumors that after about 10 years of having this Magic Mouse, that there will be some sort of design differences, but I actually am, in contrary to popular belief, I'm for the current design of the Magic Mouse. I don't personally use one, but I know a lot of people like it, and there's nothing else on the market from a mouse standpoint that can do what this Magic Mouse does. Sure, there is definitely more ergonomically friendly mice out there like the MX Master that people absolutely love. Even myself, I use the Anywhere S2 or the S3, which is a little bit better for ergonomics in the hand, but from a gesture standpoint, from a usability, from a syncing, from all those different standpoints in the Apple ecosystem, basically the Magic Mouse is a trackpad and a mouse in one, and there's nothing else like that right now. So from a redesign standpoint, I do think Apple's going to finally change the charging port from the bottom over to the front of it, so it can at least be used if it is charging, so that's good to know. And then finally, the design should change a little bit to at least be a little bit more ergonomic in the hand when you are using it, but don't expect too much of a change because Apple likes to have that sleek and nice aesthetic and form factor with the Magic Mouse. And like I mentioned, even though it isn't the most comfortable thing to use in the world, I can still use the Magic Mouse for hours and hours and my hand is going to be totally fine. Another thing that hit the rumor mills is an upgraded AirTag version, because we've only had this one version of the AirTag and there hasn't been many changes, if at all. We should be getting some sort of new AirTag 2 in 2025, which should increase the actual range to about 3x because of the different chipsets they're going to be using, and there's going to be a major update to battery life, because battery life right now, they technically say that you get about a year of battery life with the little watch batteries that you could put in these AirTags, but they do run out a little bit quicker, and then most people, especially the people that I know, instead of buying a new battery, they end up throwing that AirTag out and then getting a brand new AirTag because it is a little bit just easier and less friction in order to do that. But I do think the new updated AirTag will have a much better battery life to get you at least 2 years, maybe even 3 years on a single battery, or maybe even a single charge, depending on what Apple wants to do from a battery perspective with these AirTags. I can definitely see a situation where they adopt sort of the AirPods Pro mentality, where they create a charging case where you can maybe fit, anywhere from 2 to 5 different AirTags, so they can always be topped up and charged when you do need them. So let's say you are going on vacation, you grab a couple of these out of this charging case that you bring, and then put them into your luggage, and you can even bring that case with you, which I think would be a great way to use AirTags and manage the battery life of these things. And another big thing coming to those AirTags is going to be two-way tracking, which means you can track, of course, the AirTag, but then also use the AirTag as a beacon to track other aspects of your Apple ecosystem, which would be an awesome little addition, because of course right now you can only use the AirTag to track the AirTag as opposed to vice versa. And then last but not least, Apple is working on a brand new Apple TV 4K box. They're not really working on the TV itself. There have been rumors of that circulating, but I've been hearing rumors of Apple making their own actual TV for years and years. And of course, they're letting other companies handle that piece. I actually prefer that Apple has their set-top box because no matter how expensive or how cheap the TV that I use is, I throw an Apple TV on there because I just love the UI, I love how easy it is to use, and it just makes your TV go from like a $200 TV to almost a $600 TV because of how much better the UI is compared to whatever we have built into those TVs. But we should get a new chipset in there, maybe even something like the A17 or A17 Pro to give Apple Intelligence inside of this Apple TV 4K box, even though a lot of people might not be using it that way, but that should give us a little bit more from a performance standpoint. Secondly, Apple should be changing the form factor a little bit to make it even smaller, because again, these chipsets are so efficient, they're very cool to the touch, they don't get warm, they don't need a lot of space. So I could see Apple maybe going into that Fire Stick territory, or at least somewhere in between the current size and then the Fire Stick to compete with that form factor, because again, the Fire Stick is a great solution for people that want to be using a smart TV, especially for older TVs because it's so small, and again, it's compact and you can take it anywhere. The Apple TV, you can also kind of take it anywhere and throw it in a bag, but the smaller the better when it comes to these kind of tvOS enhanced operating systems. And then I do think Apple's going to be turning to the Apple TV and kind of going more so in the gaming category with this thing, because at the end of the day, this is a pretty powerful machine, especially if you do throw an A17 Pro in there to be able to run some of these AAA games. You can already connect Xbox and PlayStation controllers to it, or MFI controllers, and even now in the current state that it's in, it's good enough to run something like NBA 2K from Apple Arcade. So I can see this being, especially for casual gamers like myself, if for some reason NCAA football came out on the Apple TV or an Apple Arcade, I would be the first to jump on there and maybe use that as my main operating system or my main gaming device, because that's literally the only game that I play. So that's definitely something to take into consideration when it comes to using your Apple TV as a casual gaming device. And then lastly, from a price standpoint, I do think Apple's going to be going back to the value play to make this as accessible as possible, maybe giving us some sort of Apple TV set-top box for around $79 as a starting point. But that will do it for this episode of Friday 5, everybody. Like you saw, we got iOS 18.3 across all of our devices, and we got a bunch of rumors for some upcoming products and software features moving forward in 2025. I, for one, am excited for a few things: new AirTags, new Magic Mouse. This could be the year that I actually purchase a Magic Mouse, because again, I've been using the same mouse for about 7 years now at this point. Nothing wrong with it, but it could be time for a little bit of an upgrade. But that'll do it, everybody. Let me know in the comment down below what your favorite story of the week was. Will you be picking up a foldable iPad when it comes out? Is it too cost prohibitive? Are you gonna pick up a new Magic Mouse? Are you excited for new AirTags? And are you updated to 18.3? Let me know in the comment down below. But if you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And if you wanna watch more videos like this one, definitely check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace.